Alrighty, buckle up because this is Musicians and Beyond, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, lyrics, and long journeys of the music industry. Last episode, we had Matthew O'Quinn. He actually flew in from Texas just to be on our show here in Boston. So we thank Matthew for doing that. Matthew was an overnight sensation. He went to a Bruce Springsteen concert a bunch of years back. Bruce called him on stage. He does No Surrender with him and just totally killed it. Now, Matthew has 2 albums out and is working on a lot of things. So if you didn't see or hear our last episode, please go back and check out Matthew O'Quinn. The kid is just killing it. Very talented guy. And today, speaking of talent, we got a real game changer in the female music industry. Back in the 80s, this girl started out and she is unbelievable. You've heard the band Femme Fatale as well as Vixen, and this young lady was the lead singer of both. So without further ado, all the way from California, we want to welcome Miss Lorraine Lewis.
Hi.
What's happening?
Thing is happening. Life is good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I take it you're calling in from California today.
I am. I am in Palm Springs and it is gorgeous and already starting to get really hella hot. But I like it here a lot. I'm in LA a lot, but I own property here in Palm Springs. So I just kind of, work from home and do stuff from home and go out to LA when I just have to. It's the boyfriend I can't quit.
I love it. I love it. Is that your new pad in the background?
It is. Yes, it's my newest. I have a few condos out here and I moved into this place in October. And so I've been doing my thing to it and tricking it out and getting it cute. So you like it?
Wow, it's looking wonderful. I love it.
Thank you so much. And where are you? Are you on stage somewhere?
We are in Boston and that happens to be a green screen behind me.
It looks very authentic.
It looks pretty damn good.
Yes, I've been on those kinds of stages many times.
Excellent. So I want to thank you very much because following you on social media, you are one hell of a busy girl.
Thank you. Yes, I am. And, it's just who I am. I mean, I'm not married. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have any more pets. It's really just me. And so I get to kind of do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it. And so that's what you're observing.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, look, I've been doing things a lot for other people for many, many years. And I just feel like right now, this is my time. I'm the girl that will not go away ever. I will never stop, rock and roll forever. So I'm just taking advantage of this time and just feeling very fearless. Comments and people's opinions just roll off of me. I'm just doing my life the way I want to do it. And people either love it and dig it and think it's awesome and high five, or they don't, and they can just turn the channel.
Right. It's amazing how people have opinions about everyone else when they have their own problems to, keep an eye on.
Yes, people like to point fingers, but it's okay. It doesn't affect me really at all. I love it just that people talk about me, to be honest with you. I've always been, I love affection and I love attention. So sometimes the attention is not the most positive, but that's okay. It really is okay. Look, I don't like everybody either. I don't like everything. I have my own choices and my own tastes. So it's reciprocated, however it's reciprocated. And I'm not for everybody. But that's okay.
well, you're for us, and we're glad that you came on Musicians and Beyond. So thank you.
Thank you. You're part of my tribe, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And growing up in the 80s with all the hair metal, I love that stuff. That was right up my alley. So you are right up my alley in what you have done. And it all started, I was, read up a couple of things on you. You were in a junior high school choir. And
Yes.
Is that when this whole music stuff started to form for you?
No, not really. I mean, I always was singing at home for my mom and dad and my family, or like when guests would come over. I was just always kind of a performer. You would almost think that I would get into theater because I just always loved being the star of the show in the living room or what have you. Always loved that. I come from a family of six kids, and so
Wow.
it wasn't always easy to get that attention and affection from mom and dad because there was so much going on all the time. And I found my little niche of like wanting to sing and perform. And so no, I was singing and playing guitar. I'm a solid rhythm player. I'm not a lead player, but I'm a solid rhythm player. And I was playing guitar when I was a kid and a teenager. And then I would just perform for in the living room or what have you. And then it was girls choir, concert choir. I've told this story before, but I really wanted to be in concert choir. That was like when the guys and the girls mixed together, and I really wanted to be a part of that. And I auditioned. This was going into my like into the 10th grade, and I didn't make it. And I was crushed. I was so crushed. And then, as fate would have it, that teacher, that music teacher, his name is Mr. Loomis. Crazy how it stays with you, the heartbreak. Anyway, so he left, and then another teacher came in and re-auditioned everyone that Mr. Loomis had said no to, and I made it in. So
Wow.
I was really excited. I tried out for state chorus. I made that. And then it was going to see David Lee Roth and Van Halen that changed everything. I mean, before that, I was in a top 40 kind of country band called West Wind. I used to wear all black and a big cowboy hat and sing Linda Ronstadt covers. I was underage, but I still was able to play the bars because my parents had to sign off and allowed it. Um, but it was David Lee Roth and Van Halen. It's like up until that point, it was Leonard Skinner, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Linda Ronstadt, Emmylou Harris, that I would listen to. But when Van Halen came out, it was all over. I wanted to be David Lee Roth for
Well,
sure.
you and every other kid,
Yeah,
who didn't want to be David Lee Roth?
yeah. But what female wanted to be David Lee Roth?
Right. Right. So
You, you
let me
might have
ask
wanted
you,
to be him, but
in your travels, have you ever met David Lee Roth?
I have been in the circles with David Lee Roth. We have never officially met,
Yeah.
believe it or not. I know he's performing at M3 this year, and I would love to go. I've sent him some messages on Instagram. He hasn't responded yet, but I bet he will at some point. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of David Lee Roth for sure. And I would love to do a duet with David Lee Roth. So, let's see what happens in the future. The internet and social media is an interesting beast. And a lot of people don't like it, but at the same time, it really does get you in front of people that you normally wouldn't be able to get in front of. So I love it.
Right. Right. And that would be really cool to meet kind of your idol and tell them the story. And you alone are other kids' idols or other, people's idol. You were
Well,
one of the ones when women were breaking through and having a hard time in the music industry. You just said, I don't give a shit. I'm going for it. And you did, and you're still rocking it, you know, 30, 40 years later.
yeah, there's no reason to stop. I mean, why would I stop? It is interesting though. I do feel and hear a little chatter of like, um, you know, she's 66 years old and this and that and this and that and about ageism and all of that. And for me, I don't really comprehend my birth certificate or anything on it. I'm just me. And whatever that is at any given time, like I'm really still fulfilling my dreams of being on stage and rocking and rolling the house. I mean, that's what I've always wanted to do, and I'm going to do it until I die. It almost is like there's this level of like after 50 or even earlier, after 40, like we're just all supposed to fold up and just shrivel up and die or sit on the couch and watch TV. And that's just not me. And everyone can choose whatever they want to do, but that's just not me. I'm just going to keep my health is really good, my vibe is good, I love life, and I'm just going to keep doing it. And if I can be, and this sounds so damn corny, but if I can be of inspiration to anyone at all, like it is never over, it never has to be over. And I want to be living proof that you can just keep going and chasing dreams and changing, what you want to do and try this and try that. If people would Google people that have been successful after the age of 60, you would be really surprised. You would be
Mhm.
really surprised at the phenomenal brains and work ethic and things that have happened to people over the age of 60 that their life began. So I'm just waving the flag. Let's just keep going.
Right. Keep on going. I mean, this is kind of a new step for me too. I've only been doing this a couple of years. I was on the local fire department for 32 years.
Oh, I can
And
see that.
and
And are you a
always,
musician?
I am not, but I have a lot of musical ties. It's pretty fun, but this
Love
is
it.
about you, Lorraine.
Cheers. It is. Today is all about me.
Cheers to Lorraine.
Cheers. What else do you want to know about me?
Everything, anything. There's no limits. You started a band, Femme Fatale, and that was in the 80s, was it?
Yes. It was actually, I had a band called Babe Ruthless. That was like my local band in Albuquerque. We were really popular. We did top 40. At that time it was 80s pop more than rock. It was like Tony Basil, oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Missing Persons. Del Bozio and things like that. And then we started getting a little bit heavier. And then, it just all started shifting. The hair got big and the clothes got tighter and leather and leopard came out. And I just, yeah, I know that the band thought that they were going to come with me to LA, but I mean, Babe Ruthless. They did not come with me. And I know that, it was awkward because we were a band for sure, but we were a top 40 band. And I loved them, but I didn't see them as rock gods. And
Mhm.
that's what I envisioned once I got to LA. I was going to put a band together of rock gods behind me and we were going to take over the world. And it ended up that I couldn't find the rock gods in LA. And so I ended up having to call my brother, who was in another band back home. And I just said, hey, you're coming to LA. You're going to be my bass player. You're going to steal Bobby and Bill from Dirty Blonde, another band. And you guys are going to be my band. I just made it happen because it was just so challenging to find musicians. And they would show up, the 80s is it's sort of like there was metal, but there was 80s, pop or rock, like Thompson Twins, right? And that kind of 80s style. And I didn't want that. And so people would come to the door and answer an ad that we had posted. And when I say we, it was me and the keyboard player that moved out to LA together. And we would look out the little peephole and see what they looked like. And if they looked cool, like metal cool, we would open the door. And if they looked 80s Thompson Twins cool, sometimes we wouldn't open the door because it
Not
just
so
seemed a
much.
waste of time. So that's the truth of how.
So it's all about how you look.
Well, I wanted great musicians, but the 80s was a lot about flash and looking a certain way and MTV. I mean, you wanted a cool looking band, at least I did, and I wanted to fashion has always been important to me and looking your best. And so, I mean, that just doesn't change. And the 80s was the epitome of that, Poison and the makeup and the hair and bright colors and all of that stuff. And David Lee Roth walking out crotch first, with his chaps on. I mean, so yeah, I wanted great musicians that looked great. That's the bottom line. And I got that with my brother and the boys. I thought that was a home run.
And you guys all meshed pretty well, which, you didn't know how it was going to work out when you got together. Is that
Well, I kind of did because I knew that they were all great players and they were friends and they were from my hometown and we kind of had that commonality. Um, but I will say, I mean, I ran the show, right? And it was sort of like I wasn't really worried that they weren't going to work out because I just thought they are going to work out because I'm the ticket for them. Like I'm the ticket to get to LA. Small town heroes, get to move to LA with me and try to get a record deal. And that's exactly what we did. So I didn't really think about it either which way, if it was going to work out or not. I just thought, let's go for it because this is going to work. This is my band and we're going to make it happen. And they had everything to win by backing me up. So that's
awesome. Well, some bands go for years and get a record deal. Some bands go for years trying to get a record deal and don't get one. And you were there for a very short time in LA when you got one.
Yeah, we were. And I attribute that really a lot to just the fact that the sign of the times, and also there weren't a lot of females doing what I was doing. I mean, I've always been fearless on stage, and that is a huge plus for me. And I owe that to Albuquerque, my hometown. I owe that to the bar scene that I was in, 5 nights, 6 nights a week from, what did we play? Like three sets every night. Like I got very comfortable on stage. I was not afraid to get a crowd rocking and throwing their fists in the air. I cut my teeth that way, and I was tireless. I mean, 3 sets is a lot of singing. And then you get like a 15-minute break in between. And I loved it. All our friends were there. We had so much fun and we were popular. On Monday and Tuesday nights, there would be a line out the door around the building, and not just on the weekends. We were very, very popular. And I owe a lot to that music scene because it really is where I got comfortable. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And the funny thing for me is I really didn't understand the concept of a hit song. I will admit that. I back then I just thought performance was everything. Like if you perform well and you get the crowd going and people are buying the drinks and all that stuff, that's success. I didn't really understand the concept of wanting to have a hit song. I just wanted to be on stage. That's really the truth. I've never really admitted that before. I just didn't understand it. And so I just, writing songs was just a vehicle to be able to get on stage and rock the house. I didn't write songs to have a hit song. I wrote songs that came out of my soul, but it was a vehicle to be able to perform them on stage because that is where I feel the most comfortable. Is on stage for sure.
Yeah,
I will say that I was able to go to the Ozzy concert at the Forum. It wasn't called the Forum then, or it was called the Forum then, but I was friends with Randy Castillo. Randy Castillo was Ozzy's drummer. He was from Albuquerque, believe it or not. And Phil Soussan, they were like besties. And so Randy was so great. Like before we moved to LA, he would come to Albuquerque, fly home, and wherever we were playing, he would jump up on stage and perform with us. And he was always so supportive. And so I was able to go to a show of Ozzy's at the Forum because of Randy. I got the whole VIP treatment. I got to go backstage. I got to look through Ozzy's wardrobe. I mean, it was really exciting. And that was kind of like my first glimpse of what it could be like, should I find some kind of success.
Yeah, that's cool. The music industry, as you know, is very difficult. And you found it at a young age I think it was the junior high story that you just said, when you didn't make the cut, you go to a lot of doors and the doors close a lot in your face. So you just kind of got to put your big girl pants on and go and keep going. And that's what you've done. And you've really been an inspiration for a lot of females and a lot of musicians over the years.
Good. I really hope so. I mean, look, not everybody's going to love you. They just aren't. And that's okay. I mean, if you have to kind of do a full stock of yourself and realize you don't really like everybody's music either. So you can't expect everybody to like it. And you really shouldn't be doing it for people to like it. You need to be doing it because you love it and you can't not do it. I mean, that's why I do it. I can't not do music. I can't not be on stage. I mean, that's just weird. This is the longest that I have not been on stage, after leaving Vixen last May. I mean, it was almost a full year that relationship ended. And so this has been a full year of not being on tour when I was on tour for like 5.5 years. So it's really been different. But at the same time, it's really been great. And, I work in television as well. I've been a TV producer for many years, a casting producer, and in the field. I've been doing that since 2013, so 11, 12 years. I've been in the TV business. So even though I haven't been on stage rocking and rolling, I still have an entertainment love, and I get to do amazing things on television. Actually, one of the shows that I just wrapped a week ago is airing right now on Netflix. It's called Pop the Balloon. It's a
Okay.
dating show that originated from a YouTube series. And I worked on that for the last 10, 11 weeks and put a really great cast together. So I hope people will watch that. And then, of course, Ex-Wives of Rock from 2013, 14, 15. That was an amazing show to be a part of. And, you never know what's around the corner. I've got stuff all over the place going on.
Well, you're not afraid to try. Your TV resume is huge. You have a lot of music on soundtracks. You've done a lot of casting. You've put together some shows. So that in itself is pretty amazing. That you're successful not just in music but also in the television world.
Yeah, I actually just had somebody send me today a little clip from the Eddie Trunk show that he mentioned me today. Someone had called in saying something like, you should get Lorraine Lewis on your show and interview her. And Eddie was kind of like, not that interested for whatever reason, which is fine. Although he's mentioned my name quite a few times lately. But, he was sort of saying, yes, Lorraine Lewis, I'm aware of her, but she hasn't had major success, kind of a thing. And he was saying it was kind of a hard sell, what have you. And that doesn't faze me a bit. Like it doesn't matter. But also then this person said, oh, well, she's also a TV producer. This person knew a lot about me. And Eddie was like, oh, really? Like he didn't know that. And it's kind of interesting because, yeah, I've been in the TV world since 2013. So over a decade. I've been with the company that I've been with is it's called Renegade 83 Productions, famous for the survival show Naked and Afraid on Discovery.
Yeah.
Huge hit for the company. And then, yeah, we've done a lot of things. And now the head of that casting department, who I've worked with for over 10 years, Mr. Peter Higgins, has left and took me and my colleagues, Jillian and Avery, with him and started his own casting company. So now I'm working with Peter Higgins Casting, and that is the team that I just worked with on this Netflix show. So the future's bright. Again, why are we stopping? Why are we, I understand if you're like, you've got grandkids and it's time to chill and be with the grandkids, but otherwise, let's just keep living life and, telling stories. I mean, I just want to have stories for later.
I love it. Speaking of stories, tell us one of the most memorable stories in your rock and roll life.
Oh, well, I'm writing a book. So I'm going to save a lot of that for the book because there's a lot of fun things as far as my dating life with rock and roll. And I will say this. In the 80s, the easiest way to get a date in the 80s was to have an MTV video because my video was produced and directed by the infamous Marty Kullner. May he rest in peace. He just passed away March 17th. Marty was a very, very important person in my life. I don't know if you know who Marty is. His legacy will live on forever. Very famous for a lot of the rock videos, Tawny Katane, Rolling on the Jaguar, Aerosmith. Cher, if I could turn back time when she's wearing the backless, buttless bodysuit, that's Marty. And he also created a show called Hard Knocks on HBO. Marty was really an important part of my life because he when I had the idea, well, not only did he change my life forever because of those two videos, Waiting for the Big One and Falling in and Out of Love. You know, Marty's thing he was known for was making women beautiful on camera. That was his thing. And we had a connection, you know. I mean, when he's got the camera on me, waiting for the big one, and I'm rolling around and doing all my stuff, it was like just me and him in that room. It was really cool. And so I owe him a lot, but not only the videos, but also when I had the concept with Lisa Brucker, my partner, my co-creator back in the day, he's who I reached out to get it off the ground. You know, it was like, okay, we have this great idea, we have this great cast, we're starting to figure it out. What do we do? Who do we go to? And I remember picking up my phone and just kind of scrolling through to see who I knew. And I was like, Marty Kollner. It's at least worth a phone call. And I called him. He loved the idea. He wanted to call it Cuckoo Birds. Um, and but he got it off the ground. We started filming with him. Now we put a sizzle reel together with him. We didn't sell that sizzle reel. We took it to WME agency and they shopped it and we didn't sell it. But that was the tool that we then took and revamped it and then sold the show to Slice in Canada, Access TV here in the States, and Fuse. So Marty, great guy. Going back to your original question, crazy stories from the road or what have you. Gosh, there's just so many. I think one thing that's kind of fun and interesting to note is that being on stage with Cheap Trick and Robin Zander night after night during the Flame tour, listening to Robin sing those songs and listening specifically to the Flame, where he goes up into the rafters with his voice. He nailed it every effing night. And I learned so much from him. And then at the end of the tour, there's always something weird that they do to the opening band. And they had a big old fishnet above the stage. And then the last song, the lights, you know, were getting ready to go out and they dropped this fishnet on me to catch me and carry me away. So that was really fun. And I really love those guys. I haven't talked to them in years. I don't even know if they would remember that I was the girl that opened up for them. But they were really, really great to us. And Robin let me use his monitor system, which was kick-ass. And forever grateful to the great Cheap Trick.
Excellent. That's a great story right there. And you mentioned that you're writing a book. So for our listeners, you can go to LorraineLewisRocks.co and you can download music. You can buy swag, find out what she's going to be doing, what movie she's going to be in, what she's casting for. And there's all kinds of secrets around the corner, including this book that you just gave us a little tidbit about. And that obviously is going to be about your life.
Yes, I was contacted by a literary agent who I've known for years. His name is Daryl Silver, and he actually also works in television and has a production company, but he's also in the literary world. And so he called me about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, 6 weeks ago, and just picked up the phone and said, I picked up and I was like, hello, Daryl. He's like, Lorraine motherfucking Lewis. That's exactly what he said. And he said, you're on OnlyFans. And I was like, yes, I am. And we chit-chatted about that. And then he told me what he was doing and that he was in, you know, he had just gotten some people, you know, just released their books and this and that and this and that. And funny enough, he pitched me to the company, and the head of the company, I'm sorry, I don't know her name right now, the president of the company just happened to be in Rome on a vacation. And so he pitched me that morning through a Zoom call. And so she went to her laptop and Googled me. And 4 hours before, I kid you not, like I'm like the first story that dropped 4 hours before was about me. And it was on Vice. And I don't know if you know Vice, Vice, very, very popular, controversial, respected media outlet. And I didn't even know I had been on Vice that morning. But so she Googled me and saw it and read it about me being 66 years old and on OnlyFans and unapologetic about it. And she said, yes, we're going to work on this book. And then he also said, typically what happens is she puts me with someone else in the company, but she said, no, I'm working on this with you. So I'm in really good hands with them. So I've turned in about 200 bullet points. And it really goes back to the beginning of, starting out and all of that. But the idea really is it's an unapologetic story of my life and how I am not stopping. And I'm just going to live my life, like I've said, to the fullest, unapologetically. Um, Dating whoever I want to date, as long as they're 18 and over, it doesn't matter to me. If we have a connection, we have a connection.
Right.
To me doesn't register. Like if it's energy, it's fun and camaraderie. So I yeah, she really loved that whole angle. So that's really what it's about. It'll be a lot of tour stories, how I got from A to B, my relationship with Howard Kaufman, who was my manager back in the day, rest in peace, from HK Management. A lot of the fun stories, being in the Bible Belt and having moms picketing the show because I was coming through town. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff that I've witnessed and been a part of. So I
Even
can't.
though it was negative, that's kind of awesome that they spent their time to, give you the time and notoriety of you coming through. So I guess, like they said in the old days, is any any kind of news about you is good, even if it's
Yeah,
negative.
bad press is good press.
There you
Nope.
go. That's what I was trying to get to. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's really how I feel. And I have a really close knit circle of people around me that I really trust and that just get me. My younger sister Irene, she's actually going to be coming to Palm Springs in a couple of weeks with her husband, who I just love them. And she's just like one of my people that just gets me. And does she agree with everything I do or all my choices? No, not necessarily, but she knows that it's my life. And she's a big cheerleader for me. And I love that. Also, Charisse Neal, who is married to Vince Neal from Motley Crue, one of my best friends. Another person like that, that just gets me. And I think partly she gets me because she was in the world and she was married to Vince. And, you have to have a healthy ego to be able to do what a front person does, you know, um, to have the balls to run out on stage and get the house rocking, whether they know who you are or not, right? And just have everybody have a good time. So, I have a close knit group of people that I trust and that believe in me and get a kick out of me. I think that that's the biggest thing. They just get a kick out of me. And those are the kind of people that I want around me. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. It's amazing, your energy. First of all, you're positive about everything. Your energy is just second to none. You had mentioned OnlyFans. Now, for those who don't know what OnlyFans is, go and check it out. But you can interact with Lorraine Lewis on OnlyFans. You can also go to Cameo, and she'll do a personalized message for you for your birthday, a friend's birthday, or anything you want. So check out Cameo and OnlyFans and LorraineLewisRocks.co, and you can get a lot of personalized things. How did you get into OnlyFans?
I wanted to do it for a really long time, because I mean, it's a huge money maker, number one. I know this, and it was actually, I wanted to do it for a long time. I knew I wouldn't be able to do it when I was in the last band. There's no way. I would have been fired for sure. There's just no way. Because I think that Roxy likes to keep things kind of PG-13. And I'm not really PG-13.
I've
So
sensed that.
so so I wanted to do it for a while. And Charisse was like, Like, when are you going to do that? When are you going to do that? And I was like, I really want to. It's just like, yeah, da, da, da. And then, last May when things changed with my music situation, it was like, okay, this is probably go time. But it took me a while still to like actually set up my account. And I kind of did it under the radar. I joined in October, but I was just kind of trying to feel it out. I invited some select people on my Instagram that I felt were flirty kind of guys that would always tell me certain things about how, when they were 16, 17 years old, that I was like their goddess, and things like that. And I just felt safe with them that they would keep it under the radar because I wasn't ready to let it out into the world. And so I spent a few months, October, November, December, just kind of figuring out the platform. And you can do whatever you want to do on that platform. It's not necessarily pornographic. It doesn't have to be, although there is a lot of porn on there.
Right.
My particular site it's very sexy. It's sort of like Instagram on 10, because I do post some pretty sexy things on Instagram. But it's like that, but it's a little bit further, a little bit more flirty. And I do interact with my people. I do handle my own account. So when you are talking to me, it's me. It's kind of my alter ego in a way, and it's a safe place for people. I always tell them your secrets are safe here, because it's just kind of a fun platform to get to know people on a different level. It doesn't get too crazy. I mean, there have been some weird requests that I have said no to that I'm not into doing, but it's really up to whatever it is that you want to do. There's a lot of people that are really into crazy feet stuff, and
Okay.
those are really easy. Those are super easy. I've had people, send me a $75 tip that want my toes painted a certain color and things like that. So it's just adorable. Like that, it's totally harmless and fun. So I really like the platform. It's been really good to me. I love it when people are talking about it. Lots of times when people show up, I usually start the conversation with a little bit of flirty, and I just say, I'm so glad that you're here. Are you here to talk music, or are you here to talk dirty? Quoting the Poison song, right? So it just kind of lets people let their hair down a little bit, right? And I hope that that's how they see it. And it's a chance for them really to connect with me and say things that they would never be able to say to me in a million years, right? Like, I'm okay with it. I mean, I just think it's fun and adorable. And again, there are lines that I won't cross. There's just, it's just me and flirty and fun. And I've said this before in another interview. This is my bad era. And I attribute that partly to Cher, the famous Cher.
She is awesome.
She is awesome. And I saw an interview with her saying that she wishes that she would have been badder. And she said, I was pretty bad, but I wish I would have been badder. And I just thought, Cher, I get it. We only live once. We go around once. I want to have stories. I want to have stories other than me knitting on the couch, watching Friends for the umpteenth time.
Right. Yeah, Cher is another one. She is one incredible woman, extremely talented, goes outside the box, takes risks, and look where she is now. She's like on the top of the world.
She's just amazing. And dating someone 40 years younger than she is.
God bless her. Good for her.
God bless her. They
Good
look
for
adorable
her.
together, and I totally get it. I
Good
totally
for
get
her.
it.
So her guitarist, Joel Hoekstra, he was a guest on our show not too long ago. I
Oh, cool.
believe, are you doing something with Joel?
Yeah, so my lineup for femme shows, and I will say, we don't have a tour planned right now. There's a lot of stuff. You're going to want to talk to me in another week. Let's just say that, because there's a
Okay.
lot of stuff that is going to be coming out really soon. Um, and so we're not doing a big tour or anything this year. Tours are already booked up. Unless someone cancels and wants us to fill in. But I reached out to Joel several months ago and asked him if he would be my guitar player. And he said yes. And I messaged him on Instagram. He called me literally within a few few minutes, and we chit-chatted about it. And, he told me that he's super busy. I know that he's got the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He shares #1 guitar player, and I get all that. So my hope is that just when they're available and I have a show and everybody's free, which is Matt Starr on drums, Sean McNabb on bass, and Joel on guitar. I will also have another guitar player with me, and also a keyboard player that I'm not really talking about at the moment. But the hope is that all of us, everybody's got to do their homework. It's not like we're in a rehearsal room like the old days, going through songs. Everybody will show up and know their parts. We're going to hit the stage. We're going to blow everybody away. And that's the plan. Joel just did a track for me. Guess it's been about a month now. So Matt, Sean, and Joel recorded for me a single that is going to be released.
Wow.
And he's such a great guitar player. Like,
It's
I knew he
unbelievable.
was a guitar player. I knew it. That's why I wanted to work with him. But man, what he did with this song, it's just rich. That's the only way I can say it. He just oozes this richness that it blows your mind. He's so great. So the tone, like everything. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be coming out. And then, yeah, let's talk in another week or so.
Awesome.
There's lots of stuff going on.
That's great. That's good stuff. So we are Musicians and Beyond. So for our listeners and viewers, please follow us and follow Lorraine Lewis at Lorraine Lewis Rocks. And you can find out everything that's going on, download her music, support her, go to OnlyFans. Sometimes it's naughty. Go on there. She can be naughty. She can be nice. And she was quoted once by saying, OnlyFans, it's naughty.
And I'm hella sexy.
It's for the sexy, and it's only rock and roll, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not children, right? Like it's like we can have fun and be adults. Like we can have some adult entertainment and not be decadently awful people. Like, let's have some fun, lighten up a little bit.
I love it. I love it. Lorraine Lewis, all the way from California, calling into Boston. This has been unbelievable. And we like to think that our guests come on as an acquaintance or someone that was recommended to us and leaves as a friend. So Lorraine, I want to thank you for coming on Musicians and Beyond and being our friend.
Thank you. And I will definitely, let's go get some martinis when I get to Boston.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I love
Let's
Boston.
do it. Boston is great.
Cheers.
All right.